Welcome, welcome. I see we have some people joining us. Welcome, welcome. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back in the Pursuit of Wealth. Today is Thursday, February 3rd. In today's live stream, we're going to do a Q&A. We're also going to be discussing a recent article that had to do with a HEXO investor named Adam Arviv. And he was an advisor for Redecan as well, nominating 5 new independent directors to the board of directors. We're going to look at some technical analysis and my thoughts and opinions on the chart. So I see we have quite a few people joining us. So welcome. Welcome, Mirza. Welcome, Gardy Love. We're going to get started here in about 30 seconds to 1 minute. And just as a heads up to anybody who is joining, just be aware that if you tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future updates. Anytime I post a video or anytime I go live, I saw a lot of people on socials asking how they got the link or how they knew that when I was going live. If you just subscribe to the channel, there's a little bell beside the subscribe button on my YouTube channel. It will notify you each time I go live. So just sit tight and we'll get started in about 30 seconds to a minute. Hey everyone, I see we have quite a few people joining us, so we're going to get started here in about 30 seconds or so. Just sending out a few last reminders to everybody that we're going live. If you do have anybody that could benefit from this video, we're going to be doing a live Q&A session and a discussion regarding the new 5 independent directors that were nominated by Adam Arviv, a disgruntled HEXO investor, and also trying to get an interview with Adam as well, but going to go over my thoughts and opinions on all of this. I know that's been everybody has been excited with the share price rebounding, and this is the last thing we wanted to come across, and there's been a lot of drama. So we're going to dive into all that and more, some technical analysis, and just letting everybody know I am not in my regular setup. I'm still in Orlando, Florida. So I apologize for anything that isn't the regular setup. Just bear with me as we get through this. As like I said, I don't have an extra monitor. I'm running this all off my laptop from Orlando. So just sit tight and we'll get started here in about 30 seconds. Also, if you have any questions, just please hold them until we start the Q&A, and then we'll dive into that, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. So just sit tight. We'll get started here in a few seconds. All right, welcome everybody. I see we have quite a few people joining us. So today is Thursday, February 3rd. Welcome back in the Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rod with Pow Group. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the recent article from Adam Arviv. So he is an independent investor in HEXO, and he's also an advisor for Redecan, and very disgruntled and upset investor. We know that the share price has been plummeting, and nothing really new. If I could see why you would be so upset if the rest of the MJ sector was flourishing, but if you just take a look at the Tilray chart, it's also down over 90% from February highs. So we're going to take a look at all that and more. I'll give you my thoughts and opinions. We'll go through what all of this means. Is it good or bad? And then I'll save some time at the end for some Q&A. So if you do have any questions, please save that to the end. But let's get started here. So again, welcome back in the Pursuit of Wealth, everybody. I know there's been a lot of drama over the last couple of hours and the last 24 hours. So we're going to dive into this, and I just want to start off by saying thank you everybody for all of the support. You've been great, and HEXO truly is the best community. And it's not easy being number one, right? You get all these outside influences trying to take over HEXO, trying to do whatever they can And there's a lot of drama out there and a lot of attention with regards to HEXO. And this isn't the first time that a hostile takeover attempt or these types of things have happened, and it certainly won't be the last. So going to jump into it here again, not in my regular setup, so just bear with me here. But going to bring up the article that came out yesterday. Shout out to Pal Group member Sean for sharing this. But essentially, I'm not going to read through this, as I know a lot of people probably already have, but it has to do with a concerned shareholder, and they call for immediate change at HEXO Corp to reverse the massive share destruction. Now, first thing I want to start off by saying is how did they expect HEXO to raise $400 million? So anybody who is expecting or who thinks HEXO is going bankrupt or they have debt issues, or they diluted, and you think that that is something they shouldn't have done, please type in the question or in the chat box now. How else would HEXO have raised $400 million in cash to settle the cash portion of the Redecan deal, right? So they didn't have the money when they announced the deal. They didn't have the cash in reserves to afford that $400 million. So without dilution and without debt, how are they supposed to raise it? Just magically stumble upon a few hundred million? Oh, walking down the road, a few $100 million came our way. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, they could have had better terms. Okay, please let me know in the chat box again what they should have done. If you were the HEXO CEO, what would you have done? Okay, and Mr. Adam Arviv, if you are listening, if you were the HEXO CEO, what would you have done? Okay, and how is HEXO to know that we were going to enter a 12-month, 1-year-long bear market, right? No one could have known that. And Tilray is down over 93% from February highs of last year, from $67 all the way down below $5 or around that $5 area. So if you look at the chart, I'll just bring it up here real quick, comparison to HEXO. HEXO, let's just do a quick comparison. Down over 95%. What's MSOS doing? MSOS was down about 65%. So USMJ held up a little bit better. CGC down about 85%. Okay, so $67 on Tilray. We'll just do a rough estimate. Down about 93%. Okay? Now, again, I could understand if the rest of the MJ market was flourishing, if the companies were thriving and HEXO was at this position all alone. Guys, it's just par for the course. It doesn't make any sense. So what is, Mr. Adam Arviv, what is Tilray's excuse for being down 93%? Should they be firing everybody on their board of directors? What should they be doing? And what's their excuse? Okay? Again, I'm going to try not to get too heated because this is all very, very upsetting to a certain degree. But I do want to uncover the truth here, and I do want to get to the bottom of this. So again, I'm trying to get an interview with Mr. Arviv. I'm trying to get an interview with HEXO as well. I'm making some progress on both, so stay tuned for that. So anyways, let's move through this real quickly. They announced yesterday the plans to nominate 5 new independent directors at HEXO Corp with the goal of replacing the majority and the currently entrenched legacy HEXO board members. And just before we get too into this, I want to make sure, okay, yeah, my volume is going. Okay, so with a goal of replacing the majority of the currently entrenched legacy HEXO board members. Okay, that I have an issue with. Adam Myron, Vincent Chiara are the only ones on this board of directors who have been there for any length of time. Scott Cooper is new. He was a 12-year executive at Molson Coors. He also is the CEO of Truss Beverage Corp, which is the joint venture between HEXO and Molson Coors. Rosemary Gage just joined not too long ago. John K. Bell is now the chair of the board, which just joined not too long ago. Vincent Chiara owns the Toronto Stock Exchange and a lot of real estate investments. Very successful investor. I know Adam really doesn't like this guy for whatever reason. We'll see. Hopefully get an interview with him. Also, Emilio Imbriglio is not that new either. And Pete Montour and Will Montour are now on the board, which means 25% thereabout of the board is comprised of Redecan, which Adam Arviv was an advisor for prior to this deal going through. And all of the shareholders, everybody voted for that deal to go through on the given terms. So if you didn't like it, you should have voted against it, right? Now I think people are just looking for someone to blame now that their investment is down. You don't see me going online and bitching up a storm, pardon my French, because my investments are down. HEXO didn't hit the buy button for me, right? I made that decision. I've been dollar cost averaging. Granted, the market dropped a lot more than we expected or than anybody expected, but that's just the way things go, right? People just want people to blame. And that's all I really see out of this is a disgruntled shareholder. No offense, Mr. Arviv, but you sound like you're being a baby. And I would love for you to come on my channel and to discuss this as grown men, and we can have a conversation back and forth. But this is unacceptable. This is not right. This is absolutely not right. And we're going to go through this here a little quickly. So Arviv, who currently owns approximately 2% of stake in HEXO. Okay, so 2%, you own 6.7 million shares, do you? Okay. Well, I can guarantee you, POW Group and some of the groups that I manage on socials, we own just as much of HEXO as you do. And you don't see us going on like this, right? So full disclosure. We've been waging a battle with management at the cannabis company the past months, and since the company's August 2020 acquisition of licensed producer Redecan, Arviv alleges that the former chair, Dr. Michael Munzar, and former CEO, Sebastian St. Louis, deceived the Redecan group in investors and destroyed shareholder value. Again, how were they supposed to raise $400 million? And SSL even raised back, I think, around $3 and $5. He doesn't look too dumb now, does he, for raising back then, now that the bear market has hit us and Tilray's down over 90%. So again, HEXO was offered, or Redecan was offered a $1.4 billion competing offer from another LP, but it more than likely would have involved a lot more stock than cash. So the fact that Redecan got $400 million in cash from HEXO, I think, is a blessing in disguise. Imagine they accepted the $1.4 billion and 80% or 60% of that was in stock. And let's say it was Tilray or Canopy or Sundial that was trying to accomplish that. Well, look at their share price, down 85. They would have lost even more money, more than likely. So it's frustrating. But moving through this here, so they've said that they deceived investors, which I don't agree with at all. They did what they had to do. Completing a number of destructive financings, and the incumbent board of directors led by current chair John Bell, which is brand new, and director Vincent Chiara was grossly remiss in approving these transactions. John Bell just came on the board. So I don't know. Let me know in the chat, guys, what you think about that. But that, again, that's odd to me. Arviv also alleges that HEXO management and the board were fully aware of the Redecan group of investors, primarily comprised of First Nation individuals and supporters of the First Nations group who trusted the professional management and the publicly listed HEXO, invested their savings into this stock. Well, again, just looking for someone to blame, right? Don't invest any more than you're willing to lose. And the whole sector is down, guys. This doesn't make any sense. This was the first foray into the capital markets for those, many of these First Nation individuals who have lost a significant net worth and feel betrayed by the mismanagement of the company. Look at every other company. Canopy has been around forever. They've raised more, they've diluted more shareholder capital than HEXO, and HEXO's #1 in market share, and they had, Canopy had like an 8-year head start. This is just absurd. Anyway, moving through this here, they go on to talk about how it slid from $14 to $58 or 58 cents. Okay, well, Tilray went from $67 to $5. Not par for the course, guys. The departure of Mr. St. Louis, immediate effect on October 18th, was not sufficient to halt the precipitous slide in shareholder value. The incumbent board has demonstrated a notable lack of understanding of capital markets, as evidenced by a number of key mishaps in the errors over the past months. So $359 million, again, that was used to fund the Redecan acquisition. How else were they supposed to fund $400 million? I'm confident that the debt will be resolved. There's only about $240 million left outstanding on that amount. They could easily, $240 million is not that much in the grand scheme of things. OGI received $175 million for 20% stake in their company from British American Tobacco. HEXO's #1, so by that logic, HEXO should be able to even potentially do the same. Or maybe the new CPG partner, the deal's going to be structured on a royalty basis, and maybe they even loan HEXO $200 million or something like that at 8%. And then once the loan is fully repaid, then it's a royalty deal after that. They could take a stake in the company and pay cash out to HEXO. HEXO could do lease back and lease some of their facilities out, and that could help. There's so many options, right? So I'm just going through a few different things, but expect the unexpected. Let's just move through this here. So days before us closing the Redecan transaction, August 20th, management and the board undertook a subsequent $145 million underwritten public offering and warrant priced at $345. This further evidenced of the company's lack of disciplined capital market stewardship. The discounted financing and attached warrant, all but guaranteed an incremental decline in share price of the company. And one thing I want to mention as well with regards to the convertible debt, just because they default on the debt, folks, doesn't mean that it's bankrupt. Bankrupt and default are two very different things. All that default means is they have to pay an extra 15% penalty on top of that. So if you recall back to the VWAP, if it dropped below $1.50, the debt holder, which is High Trail Capital, which the CEO used to work for Oppenheimer. If you look at my YouTube channel, Oppenheimer actually did or Oppenheimer, however you pronounce it, they did a conference with HEXO in there, and it just seems like they're all behind this. They likely shorted the stock on the way down, but one thing I wanted to note is that remember when the VWAP was down below 150, they had to pay the redemptions in cash per month, which ends up being about 20 million. So again, when they default, that doesn't mean they need to pay the whole 240 million in cash next month or this month. It just means that they have to pay the redemption instead of paying in shares, because the debt holder can only own 10% of the company, and I think they're at that now, or just below it. That means it has to be settled in cash. If it drops below, if positive EBITDA is not positive, if it's negative, they have to pay an extra 15% penalty. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, that's how I understand it. So it's 20 million plus about 15%, so that'd be about 23 million in cash that has to be paid. But if Kellogg's, for example, is the CPG partner, that's what I'm speculating. I would say that it's a 90% chance, if not more, that it's Kellogg's. We know that Kellogg's has a facility right beside HEXO in Belleville, Ontario. So look it up on Google Maps. Literally across the road, it's Kellogg's. Kellogg's has $440 million on the balance sheet. So they could easily give HEXO 150 million or 200 million, which would get them by for the next 8 months or so to pay those debt redemptions. So it's not the end of the world here. And this could easily, and I was even told that Adam Arviv was blocking a potential deal that HEXO was going to sign with an outside investor, which again lines up with my line of thinking here. And they didn't like the deal, so they're sort of blackmailing them, is what we're hearing on Reddit and through the grapevine. But let's just move on here. So on August 19, 21, the share price declined 28%. Oh, cry me a freaking river, bringing the already beaten share price down to 52-week low. HEXO now faces going concern and is highlighted in the financial statements. Again, how did people expect them to raise 400 million without dilution and debt? The board continued to move forward without the pursuit of distressed issuers by leveraging HEXO, which not only further diluted HEXO shares, requires continuous increase of cash infusions to stay afloat. Okay, I just went over that. In consequence, HEXO is severely financial distress, and again, they're just trying to make it. They're just trying to make it sound like there's no options right now, and they go on to say that they're basically on the verge of bankruptcy, at the very least, another value crashing financing. Okay, so which is it? Is it bankruptcy, or could they just dilute again? Well, if they can dilute again, probably not going bankrupt, are they? Stupid. Okay, this has to stop. The market has spoken loudly and shareholders have made it clear that they have no confidence in the direction. Actually, I would disagree with that. The path forward and the 30% cut costs, double and triple flower output. They've already released new strains and edibles into Ontario through Redecan. There's a lot going on. I've never been more bullish on HEXO in my entire life. Without monumental change, well, we are going through monumental change. We've got all new board of directors too. I really don't understand, 25% of which are Redecan. Arviv will submit the names of 5 independent, and then he nominates himself. Okay, you nominated yourself. Seems a little cocky, don't you think? No offense, again, Mr. Arviv, but this is a little cocky. Again, you can read into all these. I'll put the article in the description below as well. You can read into all these, but none seem to have Fortune 500 experience or 200. None seem to have CPG experience. The person who does have MJ-related experience is only 25. Okay, so I'm older than him. I'm 7 years older than him. Okay, right. Additional information concerning the nominees. So again, you can read all of this information. It gets pretty lengthy here. So out of effort of time, I want to start moving, wrapping this up and moving into the Q&A session. And I still got a lot to go through here. So MJ Biz Daily also did an article. Investor seeks out to oust most of the MJ company's HEXO's board. So they're pushing yada, yada, yada. Arviv owns approximately 2% of HEXO. So does Pow Group and the HEXO groups on socials. HEXO management, since it acquired compelling Canadian producer Redecan for $925 million, $730 million US last year. So I did want to highlight here Arviv, the CEO of Chaos Capital, further alleged the number of indigenous investors in Redecan have now lost significant net worth and feel betrayed by the mismanagement of HEXO. Okay, well, look at the Tilray monthly chart. Please do me a favor. The activist investor cited the precipitous slide, yada, yada, yada. Arviv plans to nominate himself. HEXO said it's reviewing Aviv's board nomination and is preparing its own board recommendations for the upcoming meeting. So this could be why the meeting was delayed. But again, not 100% sure this is why, because they did say that it was going to be beneficial, and they're working on a number of plans and initiatives that would be beneficial to shareholders. And they welcomed an open and constructive dialogue with Mr. Arviv over the past few months, HEXO said in a statement. It is disappointing that Mr. Arviv has decided to proceed with this unnecessary, disruptive, and expensive approach rather than continuing working with the company in a normal course. Again, seems a little bit like he's sour grapes. Again, no offense, just my honest opinion. HEXO spent more than $1 billion acquiring producers in 2021, but some people are somehow, just dumbfounded about how HEXO has debt and has diluted. HEXO has diluted the least of Tilray and CGC, still to this day. And people are dumbfounded as to why the debt issues remain and the shares have been diluted. They spent over $1 billion acquiring companies. HEXO, which reported $117 million loss in the most recent quarter, has burned through several chief financial officers in recent years. Actually, yeah, that's true. Company announced a major cost-cutting plan, so we know that there's a potential they're in search for a new CFO. We know that they're on track for EBITDA positive here coming up in March Q2 earnings, which is in about 6 weeks. And also, they're expecting EPS positive in the next 3 quarters. So again, if HEXO were to get an investment, say from Kellogg's, $200 million, that would set them afloat for the next 8 months. By then, they'll be EBITDA positive and EPS positive. Even BNN Bloomberg forecasted Tilray and HEXO to be the first among its peers to achieve profitability. And we're still on that route. This just seems like a lot of people trying to step in and take control of HEXO and just sour grapes, and everybody wants a piece of the king. HEXO shares traded on the Toronto Stock Exchange. Okay, moving on. So I got a few things. So Adam Arviv, chairman of Ghost Retail. We can go through a few things here. Or YX Gaming, somebody said that stock is down 85%. He was also part of Green Growth Brands, co-founder. How are they doing? Am I reading that right? Did they go to zero? Things that make you go, Mr. Arviv, I'd love to get you on to defend this and to hear your perspective on this whole ordeal. Would absolutely love to pick your brain. Okay, moving on. So if you guys remember this and Irwin attempted to block this and obviously was successful. Also, if you remember, Freya defends Latin America operations following short sellers report. Some of the people that are working with Adam Arviv, apparently, some of which have been convicted criminals, I'm hearing through the reports online, they were behind this short seller report on Freya. And do we all know what happened with Freya? It dropped it just cratered, and then it recovered in no time. And then it went to all-time highs earlier in 2021 in February, and then Tilray bought them out, and we all know what happened after that. So Green Growth Brands is doing real well. Yeah. Sad that I missed that one. Yeah. Sweet. Moving on. There's also a petition going around. Full disclosure, I didn't start this. There's probably close to 100 now. Let's just do a little refresh here. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I think there was more than 60. 61, 62. It's thinking 64, 65. Not sure why this is taking so long. Probably because I'm streaming. But again, guys, we're going to wrap this up. I'm almost done here showing you what I had to show you, and then we're going to go into some Q&A. But 71 so far have signed this, 72, 73, 74. But a lot of people don't want him to own HEXO shares. Again, this isn't me again, no offense, Mr. Adam Arviv. This wasn't me who created this, but based on everything I've seen, you got some explaining to do. And Adam Arviv has had many horrible companies, is what the creator of this said. One of his great ideas was to try a hostile takeover of Afria in 2018 with his company Green Growth Brands, which is now a delisted company. He thinks he has something to say about share destruction. His company, Green Growth Brands, big fat zero. Also co-founder and significant shareholder of Bragg Gaming, which is down 85% from its high a year ago. Okay, so now let's go into some other stuff. So, it seems like Betting Bruiser knew something we did. He said that there was a proxy war going on and mismanagement at HEXO, and this came out at 6:08 p.m., so about an hour before 6:25 Eastern, and then it came out at 6:08. So he knew before the article even came out. And this guy's only got like 20,000 followers or 19,000 followers. Fully support, you own HEXO. Yeah, I fully support it. They also provide jobs locally. He didn't even answer the question if he owned it. But also, guys, did you know that the sky is blue? What kind of comment is that? They provide jobs locally. Well, duh. Anyways, just delist them, please. They're not delisting. I did a video on the delisting. They have 180 days. They were giving the warning on Monday, so they have until July 25th to regain compliance, at which case they could even get extended another 180 days, which is at least 6 months bare minimum, and could be up to a year. And they could also reverse split. We know that they approved an 8-to-1 about a year and a half ago, and then the stock price rocketed, so they lowered it to 4-to-1. So even if they did another 4-to-1, that wouldn't be the end of the world. They understand it would end up being about a 16-to-1 at the end of the day, if you do the math, but really don't think it would be the end of the world. But again, they have a whole 6 months to get the share price back over $1, and then it just has to trade above $1 for 10 consecutive days. We're leading into the CPG partner. We know that the production has already started. Would a Fortune 200 company really partner with HEXO if they were going to be going bankrupt? Obviously, they did their due diligence, and I'm seeing a lot of retail investors on the internet who just claim to be experts about everything. No offense. I'm not an expert of everything by any means, but just think about this for a second. They didn't have the cash when they announced the Redecan deal. How are they supposed to get it without any kind of dilution or debt, right? So, but not only that, you don't think that the billionaires at HEXO and Molson Coors and the new Fortune 200 company and the outside consultants and the Redecan owners, they're from the tobacco industry. You don't think that they all thought of this and expected this? Us retail investors are smarter than them. I don't buy it. But anyways, a little odd that he found out, or he knew something before the masses did, questioning that here. I'll also send an email, so if you go to the bottom of this original article, you guys should all message them as well. Let's get our voices heard. So it's right here at the bottom. Again, I'll put this in the description. Moro Sodali, telephone number, email, and then for media inquiries, please contact Christy Kaiser. And so going back here, I did email both of them, and they responded, "Hello, Mr. Murray, and thank you for reaching out. I'll reach out to Mr. Arviv, and I'll get back to you tomorrow and set up a time to discuss." So I said, thank you. Also a Reddit article here, rumor, and this was from 3 days ago. Rumor, not sure if this is true or not, but I heard from a friend that over the weekend, Adam Arviv killed a deal that would have helped HEXO and the share price. Disgusting, if true. Hope the OCS and SEC open an investigation into this. Not going to read that word. Again, I'd like to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. It's not looking good. Your case is very, very weak at the moment, Mr. Arviv, and I'd love to get you on for an interview and hear your side of the story, and I'm sure everybody else listening to my voice would like to as well. So this is really not looking good. This is a bad taste in the mouth right now. And I also got his email from that thread. Not sure if it's fake or not. But you can see here, prominent dealmaker Adam Arviv is acting as a lead special advisor to Redecan, which he obviously agreed to those terms when they made the deal. Apparently, Andrew was behind one of the Afria short reports. So Andrew DeFrancesco, you guys can look him up. Shout out to Matt for that one. Reply from Adam's Gmail, fake or real? So it was arvivadam@gmail.com. He said, thank you for your email. The current board is controlled by the same person who has controlled it forever, Vincent Chiara, who owns the Toronto Stock Exchange building. Look him up as well. Everyone is a puppet except the Redecan people, which now 25% of the board. What is he talking about? And his nominations didn't even include Redecan, whose vote never got through because HEXO people could just push through what they want when they want. The $400 million for Redecan obviously had to be financed, but it's not structure of financing. Well, you agreed to it. Financings that is the center of the case. These people have sinister intent all the time, which is not true. SSL and Adam Myron have said that they have nothing but long-term interest in the company and long-term shareholder value. So they're not interested in doing what things in the short term, but the long term. Print paper and dilute and then consolidate. Wiping shareholders' debt out. Again, they've diluted the least of Canopy and Tilray. They've been better stewards with capital than Canopy and Tilray. There is no comparison to Tilray Canopy chart. No comparison. I'm going to try and remain. No comparison, eh? Okay, well, HEXO is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 monthly candles in a row. CGC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No comparison. HEXO's down 95% plus, and Tilray's down 93% plus. Absolutely no comparison, though. They threatened to cut costs, and I haven't fired anyone. Scott Cooper is a loser. The division he ran inside of HEXO prior to taking the CEO barely generated any money. You seem like a really nice person, Mr. Arviv, just putting that out there. Generated any money, and if this is you, by the way, this could be fake. I also sent an email to this Christie girl. She did respond back saying that she was going to try to set up a meeting, so I responded back to I just respond back to that. I forwarded this email and I said, is this actually Adam? So I'll let everybody know what I find out. Do you think this guy is qualified to run the company? Well, he worked for Molson Coors for 12 years and is the CEO of Truss. And I don't know the guy personally, but I've heard many people say that he's more than competent, and I've listened to him in a few different calls. And yeah, I think he is qualified, actually. The new chair, John Bell, was hired because of his expertise. Question mark. His last post was Canopy, where look at the chart, and that's raising after $5 billion from Constellation. Okay. Well, HEXO didn't do that. Again, what's Canopy's excuse? He's an old. Let's go here. He's an old man who falls asleep in meetings and wakes up farting. I'm serious. This has happened multiple times. Okay. The worst of all is the self-dealing at the board level. Vincent Chiara is biking the company of $7 million, is bilking the company. Milking? Maybe he meant milking. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that word. For $7 million a year for a property he paid $14 million for. My friends and I are down $600 million since May. I think he means the Redecan owners because they were giving about, what was it, like 60 some million shares at $7, which ends up being around 500 million, which today that would be worth around 80 million or something like that. So it's more like 400 million that they're down, not 600 million. But again, a lot of us are down. A lot of people, some people are complaining, but you don't see me complaining. HEXO didn't hit the buy button for me. Do you think, and they didn't cause this bear market, again, just look at the Tilray chart. Do you think we should be upset? The management is two-faced and lies to everyone. There's a list of people so long you couldn't fill a 737 that will be accounting for their misconduct. As for the interview, my team will reach out to you. Thank you for that, Mr. Arviv. I appreciate that. Again, I would love to get you on. It's not looking good, though. You definitely have some explaining to do with regards to everything that the community has found here. And yeah, I really hope that you come on and take the time because I really want to pick your brain on this. So response from HEXO. Shout out to Monique for doing this. So good morning. Monique, please see the company's response. This is from HEXO. HEXO responds to the unsolicited director nominations of the self-interested activist shareholder Adam Arviv. Today, HEXO addressed the proposed nomination of 5 individuals for election to the HEXO's board. And just as a heads up, guys, we're pretty much wrapping up here. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box now. Election to HEXO's board of directors. Mr. Arviv, with the following statement, we acknowledge the activist shareholder, Mr. Arviv, has nominated 5 individuals for election to the board. The board is reviewing Mr. Arviv's submission further to the governance committee, is in the process of preparing its own composition recommendations to be shared with the shareholders for review well in advance of the company's AGM annual general meeting. As a HEXO's board and executive team does with all shareholders, we are welcomed and open to constructive dialogue with Mr. Arviv over the past couple of months. It is disappointing that Mr. Arviv has decided to proceed with this unnecessary, disruptive, and expensive approach rather than continuing working with the company in a normal course. The board of management team remain focused on executing its previously announced strategic plan, the path forward to solidify HEXO's position as the number one in the cannabis company. Again, they're number one until raised down over 93% too. It's mind-boggling. I don't understand the thought process. In Canada by recreational market share and become the first among its peers to be cash flow positive from operations, which BNN Bloomberg forecasted Tilray and HEXO would do that. Tilray was 0 on EPS last quarter, and HEXO on track to do it within the next 3 quarters. Today's actions from operations, that is, by Mr. Arviv serve as an unhelpful distraction. We encourage all shareholders and stakeholders to review our strategic plan, the path forward, at hexocorp.com. Jennifer Smith, Investor Relations. She also responded to me saying that the Fortune 500 partner is signed. You can check out my video on that, HEXO Deal or No Deal. I also did a video on his HEXO going bankrupt. Check out that as well. But again, I do not understand the argument. HEXO's chart has no resemblance to Tilray or Canopy. Let me know in the chat, guys. What does this look like? Does that not look par for the course? Again, if HEXO was down 5+% and Tilray was like at $40 or new highs at $100, I'd be like, whoa, Houston, we have a problem. But it's par for the course. Quick analysis right here before we jump into some Q&A real quick. HEXO, trying to start the monthly bounce, we have resistance at 74 from last month. So if you break that, that'll be the first time since back here in May 2021 that we bounced on the monthly. We have absolutely no resistance all the way up to 755 USD. This is the NASDAQ chart. We are bouncing on the weekly as well. The last time that happened was back here when we hit $1.88. But we're going to want to see a weekly candle close over weekly EMA 12. We have yet to close over that since we lost it back here at that 755 rollover attempt when we had that daily cup and handle that failed. So a weekly candle close over the EMA 12 there, that yellow line will be notable. Also, we have the 10-week moving average, which we have yet to regain that as support since we lost it as well back in that high from 755. So that's sitting at 72 cents. So if we close the week over 72 cents USD, get ready for some potential fireworks. We also have the stochastic and the MACD crossing bullish. The MACD crossed bullish back on October, and that's the first time that happened in over 2 years. And the last time it happened, it took about 6 months for the share price to really start its momentum higher. And something I want to bring up as well, just looking at the HEXO chart, we're starting to match the volume. This is the NASDAQ chart as well. We're starting to match the volume that we had prior to the run up here to $11 USD. And if we just take a look at the HEXO chart on the TSX, even more so, you can see here before that run up, we're starting to see this huge volume. So usually volume precedes price. And just taking a look at the daily chart. So I did a post yesterday. I'm not going to bring it up, but I did a post in the private chat room for private PAL group members saying that I would expect daily consolidation from HEXO. Bitcoin was the clue. It started daily consolidation yesterday. Then we had tech. I said tech has been bearish for very long. I've been calling that, warning it out. And Facebook plunged 25%. That sent SPY and QQQ into daily consolidation. Then one by one, we had CGC start daily consolidation today. We had Tilray, and then HEXO follows suit. I said watch 60 cents as a potential higher low on HEXO. And look where we are here, down about 11%. And we're holding, we hit as low as 57 cents. So I said expect to drop to around that 60 cents area for a daily higher low. We've since pretty much negated the bull flag, though, on HEXO. Just double check that. Yeah, so we've since retraced 50% of that bounce. So it's no longer a bull flag, but here we are set up for a daily trend change attempt. So what we want to see is bulls hold the EMA 12 here. We closed over EMA 26, which was only the second time in about 260 plus days, like 170 trading days or something crazy like that. So now what we want to see is we want to see a daily trend change confirm and then another close over those EMAs. So we want to see something like this with this higher low. And then if we break resistance here at 69 cents, that's going to confirm a daily uptrend. And then we zoom out to the weekly, and then we need to see weekly uptrends confirm. Right now it's a weekly bear flag, but then we need to see a weekly bounce, a high as possible, and then a higher low followed by a higher high. Then we zoom out to the monthly. We know that the absolute bottom is not going to be in, and we're not going to have full confidence in that until we change weekly and monthly trends, okay? So that's pretty much where we are in terms of the HEXO technical analysis. Like I said, if you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comments below. We're expecting 60 million Canadian dollars for the next earnings, which is scheduled tentative for March 17th. So again, we want to see official confirmation from HEXO on that. But we're getting close to daily overbought territory. And like I said, watching for, we could even see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross leading into the end of the week. But again, want to see it close over 72 cents. Let's just see if there's anything else I can think of at the moment. So CGC still in a daily uptrend, which is notable. And as long as we maintain this support here at 674, it's possible that we see a tightening range and equilibrium where we go like this, and then we see a tightening range. But we're still in a daily uptrend as long as that 674 holds. And just bringing up Tesla chart, it's notable that MJ's entering daily uptrends, and it hasn't been seeing that much pullback along with SPY. And if we take a look at Tesla and some of our other high flyers, Tesla could be forming a bit of a daily inverse head and shoulders, but we're still in a daily downtrend here with a lower high and lower low. Anything under 987 is a lower high here on Tesla. We are set up for a potential daily trend change here on the Tesla chart as well, but I would be super cautious on tech. Nice to see that we're seeing daily uptrends and some momentum back in the MJ sector across the board. Pretty much going to end it there. So let's just bring up the chat here. Hello, hi Rod, hello. What do you think about the institutional ownership? Do you think it will be even persuaded to vote in the favor of the random directors? No, I really don't think those random directors are going to get voted in. Let's see what HEXO, I'd like to see HEXO nominate some Fortune 500 and CPG background nominees. Also, we know Morgan Stanley has been increasing its ownership in HEXO. We know TD, Toronto Dominion, took a position in HEXO as well. And guys, if you are bearish and 98% of retail is bearish, who's left to buy those shares? Right? Somebody's got to be buying them, and it's likely the big banks who shorted it back in February, who have been spreading all this FUD, even the Hells Angels. I said from day one that was going to amount to absolutely diddly squat, and sure enough, it did. Health Canada said they concluded it, and they were not going to ask them any more questions, and HEXO was pleased and completely denied it. The FUD, they shorted it. They tricked you guys, and you sold them your cheap shares, and now they're going long, and they're going to make a boatload of money. And they already made a boatload of money on the run up to February highs, and then they made even more money shorting it on the way down, and now they're flipping long. Man, it's a dirty, dirty game. I hope you guys really understand what's going on here. They should have a plan including all of the risk instead of putting the whole company on edge of bankruptcy. Yeah, they do have a plan. It's called the path forward, man. It's what do you mean? I don't understand what you're talking about, Mo. They have the plan. They've been saying that they're communicating with investors. What else? Again, they didn't have the. I don't understand why people are dumbfounded by this. They didn't have $400 million in cash when they announced the Redecan deal. Everybody was, and their mom was, yeah, this Redecan deal's great. But did you look at the cash on the balance sheet, and then did you look at the cash portion of the deal? How are they going to get $400 million without debt and dilution? Please let me know, because I really want to hear that. Instead of just criticizing them, tell me what they should have done, please. For debt instruments, I would have just tried to raise the cash with public offerings, but they probably didn't have full faith in raising all the funds that way, so they went with for sure money notes. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of things. And again, do us retail investors think we're smarter than the billionaires at HEXO, Molson Coors, and the new Fortune 200 CPG partner and the outside consultants that HEXO is working with, and Redecan and Zenabis and 48 North? HEXO is an upcoming multi-bagger. All this drama is FUD. Yeah, I agree. HEXO is the most exciting MJ stock. If I can only own one, it'd be HEXO, but I don't. I own multiple. I own many MSOs. I own many LPs. I own ETFs, all the way from seed to sale, right? Retail, picks and shovels, folks, picks and shovels. Shareholder free to submit or voice out of concern about HEXO is up, but to HEXO, PR, how to manage and revert back. Yep. Agreed. Just wondering if that asshat has a 50-cent short position and is trying to drive the share price back down. It could be. It's very odd that it came out right as the stock, we're up over 50% from the lows a couple of days ago at 46 cents, right? Adam Arviv drove green growth to zero. Yeah, we went over that. Can't wait to hear his rebuttal to that one. Love seeing you like this. Sarcasm is hilarious. Thanks, Andrew. Hope this is expedites HEXO showing their hand a bit. I want to show more about debt and partnerships. Yep, absolutely. Well, they're under NDA, so everybody needs to chill out. It's not HEXO's fault. HEXO wants to. Jennifer already told us the deal is signed, but they're under NDA, right? So it's probably up to the Fortune 2. So if you want to blame anybody, blame who the Fortune 200 partner is, right? HEXO wants to get it out now. Believe me, I even did a video saying HEXO, the time is now, but it's not all up to them. I even said that now that this 10% dip in SPY is out of the way, we went from 420 on SPY to almost to 460 basically. That's huge. It would have been perfect time to release CPG and then debt. And they're working with BMO and Lazard, guys, which are banks and financial institutions. So they could be working on a different, a better term, and they could get an outside. Again, what is this deal going to look like with the CPG partner? Is it going to be a royalty deal? Are they going to loan the money at a certain percent, and then once the loan is paid off, it drops to a royalty deal? Is it going to be a stake in the company? There's so many things and so many options, right? March 17th will be a huge eye opener. I love HEXO, so much potential. Yeah, like. Go to my YouTube channel and just look at the views on all my MJ. I try to be as unbiased and try to include as many companies as possible, but I usually do what the community wants and what the community has spoken. They love HEXO, and a lot of people are from the United States. I'm looking at my analytics, and a lot of people that watch my videos on HEXO are from the United States, and they haven't even been able to try HEXO products yet, unless it's like the Truss beverages, the Veryvel from the US. But I don't see any of that going on with any of our other companies. And also, I don't see anybody talking about products and hype around, brands and products that, MSOs have. All I hear is their financials are good. Okay, yeah, well, they got 300 million people in the US. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. You're comparing apples to oranges, not apples to apples. But I don't hear anything about their products. No one seems to care. So guys, if you're listening to me, please let me know, like, what's some great brands and products that you love from other MSOs. Is Adam guy smoking something that he is not supposed to be? Yeah, he must have got his hands on that new, on HEXO's new strains. What is the GSC and Ultra Sour. There's Durban Poison pre-rolls now. Yeah, he must have got into too many of those. Too many Molos. I want to see you versus Adam interview so bad. I'll go prepare myself for a bulk bag of popcorn. Absolutely, yeah, and prepare any questions you guys have. Adam Arviv is confirmed to be the biggest HEXO consumer. Huh. Consumer or investor? Rob, Mr. Muriagi, Adam equals Jerry Silver. Fill your HEXO bags, my friends. NFA. It's almost obvious that this attempt won't do much. I wonder if there's more to this plan. Yeah. You have to wonder. Hey, Rod, any news on Curtis Solveig? Thanks in advance. No, I mean, a lot of people are speculating that he has, it could be more reactionary or preventative than reactionary. Yes, he also has experience in corporate restructuring, complex corporate organizational restructuring. Yes, he has experience with bankruptcies. But again, does it really sound like a company is going bankrupt when they just launched edibles in Ontario? Quebec doesn't even have Redecan yet. We have Truss expanding into 17 states. We have a new CPG partner partnering with HEXO. They're currently in production. Do you not think that the Fortune 200 company did its due diligence? Would they really start production with a company that's going bankrupt? It just doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't make any sense. So Curtis Solveig, maybe he's in there with the complex restructuring and synergies and amalgamating all of the businesses, but also using his bankruptcy knowledge to prevent that from happening. Doesn't mean that they're going bankrupt. Again, watch my Is HEXO Going Bankrupt video. Again, if HEXO gets an outside investment or a stake in a company or a royalty deal and a loan, they could easily get enough money, 100 million, 200 million to stay afloat for the next 8 months. And guys, just because they default doesn't mean they're going bankrupt. It just means that the debt redemptions have to be paid in cash, which is around 20 million a month. And if they default, it's a 15% penalty, which means about 23 million in cash. So again, they're not going bankrupt anytime soon. And this does not spell, this does not have all the signs of a company going bankrupt. But good question on that, Rossum. It's a dirty game. If we can't fight it, then we just need to learn the game and ride the wave. Yeah, if you can't beat them, join them. You just don't be a fish, be a shark. Move with the whales, right? Learn to be a dolphin. We can't move before them because they sell and they mark the top. They buy and they mark the bottom. We just need to be a dolphin and move with them, right? Don't be a fish, be a shark. There's a lot of sharks out there. This is especially in crypto and MJ. This is the most cutthroat, deceptive, and just, oh, it's sickening, really. That's why I did a video as well, stock market hack, the key to be a successful investor. Check that out, it's really cool. So true. Ride the wave. I think it will bounce with more real PRs. Yep. They should have a plan including all the risks instead of putting the whole company on the edge of bankruptcy. Again, they do have a plan. It's Mohammed. They called the path forward, and they're cutting costs. They are launching edibles. They're doubling and tripling their flower output, focusing on products that are selling. They even bought a new machine from Italy that will produce 1.6 million pre-rolls per day. And they've been launching new strains, and they even upped their Redecan readies from 0.35 grams to 0.4 grams. So they have the plan. Like, the plan is sound, in my opinion. The debt, they're working with BMO, they're working with Lazard, and yeah, the new CPG partner could even take a stake in the company, similar to British American Tobacco and OGI. OGI got 175 million for 20% stake, and HEXO's number one. Plus, HEXO has the proof of concept now with Molson Coors. When Molson Coors signed the deal with HEXO, they didn't even have any products on the market. And when they did, they sucked, right? And then they didn't have any proof. They weren't number one. Now HEXO's number one. They have the proof of concept with Molson Coors that they can be late to the game in the beverage category and still take number one position. So they got some leverage there. Kellogg's is actually, just Google Kellogg's, are they in trouble? There was an article saying that, a lot of people are saying, well, that valuation, 200 million at 10% for HEXO wouldn't be good for Kellogg's investors. Well, there might not be any Kellogg's investors if Kellogg's goes under, because they're struggling too. And they just had a strike as well that lasted for months and likely delayed some of this stuff. And again, they're under NDA, and if it is Kellogg's, HEXO can't say anything. It's up to the Fortune 200 partner. But I think HEXO has some leverage to go with now that they have proof of concept with Molson, and they're number one in market share, and they're also number one in that category in beverages. So they prove that they can do it. Everybody wants to be HEXO. They do. Everybody. If you look at Irwin Simon's recent Tilray video with Yahoo, I think it was, he sounds like SSL. He's like the new Sebastian St. Louis. He's talking about beverages, CPG companies, bourbon, and THC infused bourbon. Well, guess what? There's actually a new whiskey that Molson Coors came out with. Molson Coors also has a deal with Coca-Cola right now that they're working on some drinks. Also, Molson Coors has a deal with ZOA Energy Drinks and The Rock, which is now a top 20 energy drink globally. So there's a lot of... You guys don't understand the expansion into Cali, the Redecan, the Reddies, and the gel caps through the special purpose vehicle into California market. We know that that's coming. We know that they're expanding in the U.S. Through Trust. We know New York's coming online soon. We know that they're on track to become EBITDA positive, EPS positive over the next 3 quarters. They're launching new products, Redecan, Redibles. They're launching they're also launching Redecan in a lot of the Atlantic provinces. They're not even in Quebec yet. It's Canada's second largest province in the country. And what's going to happen when the HEXO has the ability to enter through the CPG partner and hemp and CBD derived from hemp? They may even be able to be in grocery stores. We know Amazon has CBD in Whole Foods, which they own Whole Foods. So there's so much potential here. And then what happens if they can sell THC products in the U.S.? Like, what happens when MSOs get to come to Canada if that happens? Who cares? There's more people in California than there is in Canada. The potential and the growth of HEXO, and then you got Malta legalizing and Thailand on the verge of legalizing in Germany. And we know that HEXO has the EU GMP certified facility in Malta. There's so many options. It's almost mind-boggling and silly. I've never seen this many positive catalysts a company has on the horizon. Maybe CPG partner is waiting for financial financing before announcing. Yeah, or they could be part of it. They were also under a strike. Kellogg's, again, I don't know if it was Kellogg's. I'm just speculating. Let me know in the comments below what you think it could be. Again, I don't think it's Coke or Pepsi. We know it's in functional foods. They said Fortune 200. Whether that means between 200 and 300 or top 200, we don't know. Kellogg's is like 222 rank. But if they mean Fortune 200, it could be in 200 to 300. I don't think they necessarily meant top 200. But I really don't think it's Pepsi or Coke. Again, HEXO's facility is literally across the road from Kellogg's in Belleville, Ontario. Check out Google Maps. Rod, when do you think the CPG Partners news can be published? Well, we have the earnings coming up in 6 weeks, and we have the annual general meeting coming up. It could potentially be announced before then to get some votes, potentially if it's a deal, if it's a royalty type of deal or a stake. Obviously, we'd have to get shareholder votes for that, so we'll have to wait and see. But tons of time, 6 weeks. We know production's already started. So I would expect at some point soon. We know Safe Banking Act is being pushed through. We know Chuck Schumer is trying to get things through sooner. And yeah, I mean, if I were a CPG company, especially Kellogg's, who's struggling, you know, who wouldn't want to get into the MJ space when Amazon's endorsing it? The federal bill, now Republicans are endorsing it. We know the elections are coming up in November. Yeah, they're so, like, who wouldn't want to get their foot in the door? Remember Canopy getting billions of dollars from Constellations before they even had products for sale? Who wouldn't want to give HEXO a few $100 million for 10% stake in the company? I mean, CGC got billions and just destroyed and just absolutely crapped the bed, for lack of a better word. They had this in December, not in May when they signed the deal. Yeah, but how else were they supposed to raise $400 million? Again, no one's saying any other options. They just keep saying they should have done better. But please let us know what they should have done. HEXO is the next Red Bull, niche market entry. Well, SSL, just go to my channel, go to Pow Group channel and search Coca-Cola HEXO. SSL said in front of everybody that he wanted to make HEXO the Coca-Cola of cannabis. Again, I don't think Coca-Cola is the partner, the CPG partner yet, keyword yet. We'll see. We know that Coca-Cola is working with Molson Coors, so HEXO is going back down. All right, sell your shares. I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you don't believe in them, I'm not telling you, this isn't financial advice. Actually, you know, I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold, but if it's going back down, maybe you want to look at, or maybe you want to just not pay attention to HEXO. I don't know. What is your price target for HEXO, Rod, after all these positive potentials? I could easily see a jump back to around fair market values of $1.60. So I could easily see a jump up to around the $2 mark. Very little resistance on the weekly and monthly charts. So we could easily see a jump back to around $5 in my opinion if we get CPG partner news, if we get debt news, favorable update on the debt situation, and positive EBITDA, great earnings in March, potential for EPS positive over the next few quarters, possible safe banking, possible US legalization hype. Look at what happened on the run-up in Canadian legalization hype when they didn't even have any products for sale. What's going to happen when the US has products for sale and it's already been legal in Canada for multi-years and LPs can enter in? It's I could easily see HEXO at $25 to $50 again in the future, you know, 3 to 5 years out. The path forward seems to be working. Let's go. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. From the time you started speaking, the stock went up. I haven't been looking at it. Don't care. Not selling anytime soon. But that's good. Thanks for letting me know. You guys don't understand. Let's go. Bashers coming in live. Yeah. I just don't understand it, guys. Life's too short. If you don't like HEXO, move on. Delete it off your watch list. Again, go look at my videos on what has the most views. Look at the polls I've done, which company has garnered the most retail attention. Why do you think all these people are trying these hostile takeovers and are so, you know, trying to step in and take control of HEXO? Because they want a piece of the king, right? Like, guys, they said the same thing about Tesla. Tesla's going bankrupt. They don't make any money. Never buy Tesla. They make less cars in a year than Toyota makes in a month. And then we all know how that played out. Right now, Tesla's worth more. So don't listen to these financial analysts. They're set up, like, again, if you're listening to my voice and you don't understand the debt and the dilution, how in God's green earth was HEXO supposed to pay $400 million in cash when they did not have that amount of cash on the balance sheet when they announced Redecan? It's not that. Anyway, I digress. Share price is 160. The share price is 160. The fair market value, I think, is 160 Canadian. Rob, it's Rod, by the way. This is awesome, by the way. Do you think it's too early for Coca-Cola to jump into the cannabis space until Fed legalization? Yeah, they might want to see a little bit more reassurance, but Amazon lobbying is a good step. Again, these companies are going to want to get in and involved, right? Just look at Constellation, how much they paid to get into Canopy before Canopy even sold a single product. They didn't even sell any products before Canopy got that investment from Constellations. Now HEXO's #1 and has the best products on the market. They won Most Innovative Product of the Year, Master Grower of the Year. Like, wake up, people. It's not that hard to understand. Like, the writing's on the wall. Everybody wants to be HEXO. HEXO is the leader, the innovator. They were the first with the value segment. They were the first to come out with the 28-gram value, right? First to make that packaging. They're first of everything. They're first to make the Readies, and now Oxley's copying them. But now HEXO has 0.4 grams in there. Now Oxley's like, oh crap, HEXO's got a 0.4 gram. Now we're stuck at 0.35. Now we need to go revamp ours, and then they're going to be delayed. Then their next shipments, are they going to try to compete, or are they just going to say, you know what, we don't have the technology and the time and the resources to do this, Plus, HEXO is a monopoly in Quebec, and it's not easy for other LPs to enter Quebec. I made a mint with HEXO before. I'll do it again. FYI, I'm in Canada, and it's dope here. It's dope up here. Yeah, absolutely. Heck, go Canada. I'm in Florida right now. I can't wait to get back and try the Redibles and all the new strains. Bottom is in, my dudes. Time to load up in HEXO. Yeah, we need daily uptrend, weekly uptrend, monthly uptrend to be confident. Weekly candle close over 72 cents is what I want to see. Going to end it there, guys. I see we don't have any more questions. Bottom is in, my dudes. Yep, that's the last one. So going to end it there, guys. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. Make sure to smash the like. I appreciate it. Really appreciate it if you could share this video with anybody who might find value. And again, thanks for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. We'll see you on the next video. Take care.